Hello everyone, I am Maki, and together as a group we will be presenting with Jenna, Alyssa, Norlene, Yoshiko, and myself. We are students of Northern Marianas College. Our campus is located on Saipan, a tropical island in the Pacific Ocean. These are the books we've used in class. Excellence in Business Communication, 9th and 11th edition. Today, we will give you a lecture of Mastering Team Skill and Interpersonal Communication according to Chapter 2 of this book. In this chapter, we will cover the following topics: communication effectively in terms, collaborating communication efforts, making meeting more productive, using meeting technologies, improving listening skills, improving nonverbal communication skills, and last but not least, developing business etiquette.
I'd like to talk about teamwork interaction in workplaces. No matter what career path you pursue, you need to collaborate with your colleagues or teammates in order to accomplish your mission. No matter how hard you work, it is impossible for you to accomplish the great goal without collaborating with others. Collaboration in workplace has become a core job responsibility in any business world. In the first place, what is a team in workplace? A team is a unit of two or more people who share a mission and responsibility to achieve a common goal. There are two types of team in terms of time, namely temporary team and permanent one. The examples of temporary team are problem-solving teams and task forces. They assemble to resolve specific issues and then disband when their goals have been accomplished. As for permanent team, an example is committee. It is a formal team that usually has a long lifespan and can become a permanent part of the organizational structure. As you can easily imagine, teamwork has both advantages and disadvantages. There are many advantages of teamwork. If people get together to aim for a common goal, the team has access to more information and knowledge because it is a unit of several individuals with different experiences. Team members can also bring a variety of perspectives. Another good point is that those who participate in making a decision are more likely to support it and encourage others to accept it. And addition to that, working in team can unleash new levels of creativity and energy in workers. Effective teams can be much better than top-performing individuals at solving complex problems. Although teamwork has many advantages, it also has a number of potential disadvantages. One of disadvantages is groupthink. It occurs when peer pressures cause individual members to withhold contrary or unpopular opinions. The result can be worse than the choices members might have made individually. Another disadvantage is that some members may have a hidden agenda. The hidden agenda is private, counterproductive motives such as a desire to take control of a group, to undermine someone else on the team, or to pursue a business goal that runs counter to the team mission. The other disadvantage is that teamwork requires high costs. Writing schedules, arranging meetings, and coordinating individual parts of a project can require a lot of time and money. So, what should we do to let the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages? In general, the most effective teams have a clear sense of purpose as well as a strong sense of trust. They communicate openly and honestly, reach decisions by consensus, think creatively, and know how to resolve conflicts. Any team is not perfect or effective when it is born. Like human beings, teams evolve through a number of phases to becoming productive. Here is a phases through which a problem-solving team goes as it evolves. The first is an orientation phase. At this phase, team members socialize, establish their roles, and become to define or understand their task or pursue. The second is a conflict phase. Team members begin to discuss their positions and become more assertive in their roles. In this phase, disagreements and always occur. The third is a brainstorming phase. The team generates ideas for meeting challenges they need to address. Individuals can generate uh, ideas on their own and present them to the team. The fourth is emergence. In this phase, consensus is reached when the team finds a solution that all members are willing to support. The fifth is a reinforcement. The team clarifies and summarizes the agreed upon solution. Members receive their assignments for carrying out the group decision and make arrangements for following up on those assignments. I would like to elaborate the second phase of conflict in the team evolution. Conflict in team activities can arise for a number of reasons, namely competition for resources, disagreement over goals, poor communication, power struggles, or fundamental differences in values, attitudes, and personalities. Although the term conflict sounds negative, conflict is not necessarily bad. Conflict can be constructive if it forces important issues into the open, increases the involvement of team members, and generates creative ideas for solving a problem. In order to make negative conflicts be constructive, here are several measures. The first is to deal with minor conflicts before it becomes major conflicts. The second is to get those who are involved in a conflict to participate in resolving it. The third is to get feelings out in the open before dealing with the main issues. The fourth is to seek factual reasons for a problem before seeking solutions. The fifth is not to let anyone lock into a position before considering other solutions. The sixth is to insist fair outcomes and to do fair play. The last is to get opponents to fight together against an outside force instead of against each other. Now move on to the next section, collaboration of communication efforts. When a team collaborates on reports, websites, presentations, and other projects, the collective energy and expertise of the various members can produce results that are much better than what each individual can do alone. However, it's matter of course that collaborating requires special efforts and planning. In any collaborative effort, team members coming from different backgrounds may have different work habits and writing styles. To collaborate effectively, everyone must be flexible and open to other opinions, focusing on team objectives rather than on individual priorities. The effort requires a number of steps. Here are guidelines of collaborative writing. Firstly, please select collaborators carefully. Whenever possible, choose a combination of people who have the experience, information, and talent needed for each project. And team members should agree on project goals, clarify individual responsibilities, establish clear processes, and make sure tools are compatible across the team. And the most important point in writing in teams is to avoid composing as a group. Because any member has different writing style, just putting together their compositions leads to a lack of consistency. Particularly for longer projects, it is more efficient to plan, research, and outline together, but assign the task of writing to one person. If you divide writing, try to have one person do a final revision to ensure a consistent style. There are a wide variety of tools that are available to help writers collaborate. Writing for websites often involves the use of content management system. The system helps team members work together on web pages and other documents. These tools range from simple blog systems to enterprise systems. In contrast to the formal controls of a content management system, A wiki is a website that allows anyone with access to add new materials and edit existing ones. Another technology is shared workplaces. There are online virtual offices that gives everyone on a team access to the same set of resources and information.
Hello, my name is Eliza and I'll be talking about making meetings more productive. Well-run meetings help companies solve problems, develop ideas, and identify opportunities. For the first topic, preparing for meetings. You want to identify your purpose. Meetings can focus on exchanging information, reaching decisions, or collaborating to solve problems or identify opportunities. So, whatever your purpose, define it the best as possible for a good result of the meeting. Second, select participants for the meeting. Only invite people that needs to be involved. Do not invite those who doesn't. Decision-making meetings are maximum 12 people. Otherwise, it would be unmanageable. The third, choose the venue and time. There are two types. One of the type is online meeting. This is often best for large audience or multiple locations, such as reaching another company abroad. The second would be in-person meeting. Now keep in mind, you would want to review the facility and sitting arrangements. Also pay attention to the room temperature, lighting, refreshments, and make sure that the equipments are functional. The fourth one would be setting your agenda. A successful meeting equals great preparation of participants. A productive agenda answers three key questions, and they are: what do we need to do in this meeting to accomplish our goals? What issues will be of greatest importance to all participants? What information must be available in order to discuss these issues? For the second topic, I'll be talking about conducting and contributing to efficient meetings. Following guidelines helps leaders and participants contribute more effectively during meetings. First, keep discussion on track. You need to have good leaders that needs to guide, summarize, and redirect discussions that have gotten off track. Second, follow agreed upon rules. The larger the meeting, the more formal you have to be. Third, encourage participation. Notice those who are too quiet and too talkative. Encourage the quiet participants to contribute in with the meeting and the talkative participants to limit themselves to give others a chance. Fourth, participate actively. Use listening skills and observation to achieve the group's goal. Speak up only if you have something useful to say, something that is relevant to the topic in the meeting. Lastly, fifth one, close effectively. Verify objectives if it has been met or not. Summarize the meeting and make sure all participants understood everything. The last topic I'll be talking about putting meeting results to productive use. In most cases, the meeting doesn't end when the meeting ends. Having a written, audio, or video recording of a meeting also gives the participants a chance to verify their impressions and conclusions. Recording meetings is through written minutes, a summary of the important information presented and the discussions made. You have to make sure you record all the key information. Typical elements include a list of those present and a list of those who were invited but didn't attend, followed by the times the meeting started and ended, all major decisions reached at the meeting, all assignments of tasks to meeting participants, and all subjects that were deferred to a later meeting. Also, the minutes objectively summarize important discussions, noting the names of those who contributed major points. Also, the written minutes would be made available by handouts, files, and other documents for the participants. Using meeting technologies. Today's companies use a number of technologies to enhance or even replace traditional in-person meetings. Virtual meetings reduce costs and gives team a wider pool of expertise. Such virtual meetings are instant messaging and telepresence. These are the simplest forms of virtual meetings. Telepresence enables realistic conferences in which participants, thousands of miles apart, almost seem to be in the same room. Video conferencing lets participants see and hear each other, demonstrate products, and transmit other visual information. Conducting successful virtual meetings requires extra planning beforehand. Because virtual meetings offer less visual contact and nonverbal communication than in-person meetings, leaders need to make sure everyone stays engaged and has the opportunity to contribute.
Hello everyone. The next topic is about improving listening skills. As a good listener, you can learn new things. It builds a stronger organizational relationship. It can be easily deal with your clients, and you can avoid errors and misunderstanding. In addition, effective listening is important to procedure of structure belief, not only between individuals but also between businesses. To begin with, to recognize the different types of listening approaches such as content, critical, empathic, and active listening. Content listening is that you can comprehend and keep the speaker message, but you are not evaluating information from the speakers. Critical listening is to recognize and evaluate the message of the speakers on some levels. For instance, the speaker motive or purpose, the oversight of any important points, the reason of the argument, and the strength of the conclusion. For example, if you are doubtful, you would ask the speaker to explain more or her, his. Critical listening is to recognize and evaluate the message of the speakers on some levels. For instance, the speaker motive or purpose, the oversight of any important points, the reason of the argument, and the strength of the conclusion. For example, if you are doubtful, you would ask the speaker to explain more her or his point of view. The next topic is understanding the listening process. To listen efficiently, you should know to apply the 5-step listening process. The 5 steps listening process is the following. To begin with, receiving, decoding, remembering, evaluating, and responding. Receiving. Receiving the physiological means of receiving sound and stimuli, or physical hearing the message and recognizing it. Decoding is the process of interpreting the sounds of the messages. And then remembering, the process of placing the suitable information into short-term memory or long-term memory. Next is evaluating. Evaluating is to relate critical thinking by separating facts from opinion and assess the value of the evidence. Responding. Responding is the process of giving feedback to the speakers or receivers. Finally, I'll explain some types of listening barriers and ways to avoid them. Some types of potential barriers are interpretation, memory, and selective barrier. Interpretation. Interpretation barrier is a listener is just making up their minds before they hear the messages of speakers. Memory barrier. Memory barrier is having difficulty of remembering the important information. Then the last one is selective barrier. Selective barrier is when your mind strolls until you heard a word that gets your attention. Nevertheless, effective listener is to overcome barriers by applying techniques such as control barrier, avoid selective listening, keep an open mind, summarize the speaker's ideas, don't count on your memory, develop your short-term memory, and develop your long-term memory. To conclude, this improving listening skills is becoming an effective listener is an skills of being able to recognize the different types of listening approaches, applying 5 steps listening process, and understanding the types of potential listening barriers. Also, by using techniques is very important in order for us to prevent mistakes or miscommunication.
That I'm going to cover is improving nonverbal communication skills. This topic is important because they may apply you in your daily work. It may interpret you by different opinion. You may give this opinion by different unintentionally or intentionally without using written or unspoken words. There are 6 ways how to recognize nonverbal communication. These are facial expression, gesture and posture, vocal characteristic, personal appearance, touch, and time and space. First, facial expression is important because this is the way how you communicate every day. Having eye contact to your audience is especially. Just to remember, when you're talking, people may judge you in different ways by your clothing, the way you talk, the way you walk, or the way your appearance, or the way your body movements and positions. Second, when you're talking to someone, please listen carefully when they're speaking and have your word clearly when you're responding. Third, be more observant to your surroundings and to your workplace.
Developing business etiquette. The impressions you leave behind can have a lasting effect on you and your company. I am here to teach you Chapter 2, which is Develop Business Etiquette at Work, Public, and Online. Business etiquette in the workplace. Pay attention to your clothing style. Be aware of the clothing that you wear to work. Make sure that it is appropriate for your work. Come to work well groomed and clean. And third one is to avoid powerful scents which your coworkers may be allergic or irritated to. Come to work on time and practice good phone skills. Developing good phone skills. Be conscious of the tone of your voice. Avoid a monotone and slow down when speaking, especially when you know that the person's native language is not English. Be courteous when you call someone. Answer the phone with a smile on your face because it gives a welcoming tone on your voice and it sounds good to your callers. Keep a positive attitude when you answer the phone. And end calls with courtesy. Make sure to close in a friendly and a positive manner. Take advantage of your voicemail features. Record a professional sounding message that you will use regularly and a separate one when you are unable to attend phone calls. Keep in mind not to let your voicemail messages pile up when answering them. Business etiquette in public. You may be asked to represent your company in public places. This is why it is important to study etiquette in social settings. Appropriate action and appearance. As I've said earlier, it is important to look well groomed and clean all the time because you are representing the company that you work for. And also be aware of actions, such as shaking hands. Be sure that you are standing up when you shake hands with someone. And always introduce yourself with a brief description of your role in the company that you work for. Familiarize yourself with other cultures. Be sure to take the time to study cultures of other countries. For example, in Japan, it is more appropriate to bow your head down instead of shaking hands. Study basic dining etiquette. Business is often conducted over meals. Choose foods that are easy to eat and avoid alcohol or save it until the end of the meal. And keep all your papers and important documents under the table. And last but not least, avoid discussion on political or religious matters. Basically, keep in mind to avoid topics that stir up emotions. Business etiquette online. As we know, the internet is filled with bad etiquette. Therefore, it is important to study this to avoid problems with your company or your career. First, avoid personal attacks. Do not present opinions as facts. Support facts with evidence. Avoid acronyms such as LOL. Use a virus protection. Always ask if the person is available before sending them an instant message. Do not use reply all unless necessary. And don't waste others' time with incomplete messages.